morning. It is Wednesday, December 5th. So let's get on to the wisdom of the day. Well, today is an interesting reading. It's all about the path to realization, okay? Cutting through the illusion, being challenged on every level. And that's what the path is about. If you are on a serious path, okay, well, let's just go through the card and we'll talk about it. Father of Waters, the first card out. So how are you using your emotions in the world? Okay, what's coming up? How are you using them? Next card, we have twice the Shaman card. Okay. Healing, ancient healing wisdom. Okay. To become a shaman, one has to do the spiritual journey. And there are so many different shamans. Like I had a friend, and all of the men in her family were medicine men of some sort and variety. Now each medicine man has a different speciality of where their focus has been. Okay, what type of knowledge they gained. Okay, you have some that are seers, that are more prophetic. You have some that are more into the herbs, doing the herbs. All different types of shamans, of medicine men. Okay, in this case, I'm a realized being, which means, what's a realized being? It means somebody that's gone the whole of the path and broken through the illusion, that rests in a still mind, okay, that has seen and knows what is that great spirit, what is that it animates all of life, okay. So it's somebody that's basically seen the face of God. You can say that. Someone that has seen the face of God, that has blown out all the illusions. So you lose all your baggage. The minute that takes place, and that brings us to the next card, the path, is the dragonfly spirit. Truth transcends illusion. Now, if you are on a Kundalini journey, my journey was through Kundalini. It awakened for me at the age of 18, 19 years old, and completed when I was 49. And from that point, then I became a teacher. But on that journey, if you have awakened Kundalini, it goes through, they call the 7 chakras or the 7 states. I call them the 7 states of consciousness, okay? And it first fight or flight, the sexual drama, the heart center, the vocal, you go through all of those different stages. And you see which is illusion, what is reality, what is illusion. And so on that path, all of a sudden, if you have a Kundalini awakening, all of a sudden you're going to see auras, you're going to hear sounds, the nod, the nadi, you will be in your body in one moment, next moment your consciousness will be above the trees. Just so many things. You become very, very sensitive to every sound, everything you can hear, So it's a journey through the, how do I want to say it? Through the psychic realm, through the unseen world. It's a journey through there. And so if you're making that journey, it's so important to maintain balance, because you'll have dreams, you'll have visions, everything will, you'll have dreams that you can control the dream, lucid dreaming. You will have, again, visions that come that seem very, very real. You'll be traveling to astral realms. You'll see the gods in person and be able to communicate. You'll reach the point of wisdom where anything you want to know, you can know it in an instant, in a heartbeat. Either you'll have the whole of the the whole of the concept just immediately downloaded, or you'll get something line by line by line, okay? Other powers will open, like the ability to feel what's going on with another person. You'll be able to intuitively feel it immediately. Healing, you might be able to do healing, immediate healings. Just anyway, so many things happen on the road to becoming a shaman, one with the wisdom. And this card is the most important. Truth transcends illusion. Because all of these things that are coming up flying in your face are to challenge your belief systems. What you've thought to be real, the ideologies you've had. When you break through that illusion and you die that death before death, and you see the face of God, so to speak, you know, and that's, in that moment, everything falls away. Everything is imploded at that moment. If you can get to that point of you die that death before death, and it's something that you have to, you have to relinquish yourself. You put yourself on the altar of truth, okay? It's like a sacrifice of the ego self. And you go through this feeling of dying. And then you get to the other side. And in that moment, the only thing that's real is that absolute, or the great spirit, whichever you want to call, or God, whatever you want to call. And anything in this world has no reality. Okay, you are absorbed. You are, and that's the only thing that's real. You're not seeing something with your eyes. You've gone beyond the five senses. Okay, that's not the way that you are in alignment. That you've basically dissipated into this great being. Okay, it's not, you know, you've left the mortal coil behind, so to speak, and the only thing that's there is spirit. And so you know the inner workings of the universe immediately in that moment. Everything is clear, and all the illusion is gone. And that's why it's said when one enters realization, it's like awakening from a dream. Okay, so one awakens from the dream, then eventually one comes back into the consciousness of this world, the transient, the temporal world. And there has been a massive shift in your consciousness because now the illusion has been laid bare. Okay, one knows why karma exists, why it has to exist. You know the inner workings of that great being, the great spirit that animates all of life. You're no more in the illusions and despair and troubles, all the stuff that you had carried for lifetimes. It's gone. They don't exist any longer. It's like you're a new being. Okay? So in that way, you're able to come back and aid others. Because you've done the journey, you know the roadmap, you know what you're going to see along the way, you know the suffering one goes through to get there. Now, this is not the yellow brick road. Okay, the path is not the yellow brick road. You're not going skipping along to Oz. Okay. It can be very painful along the way. You go through severe depression, you go through dark night of the soul, you go through where you could feel the pain of humanity. I mean, it's just, there's a lot of really, really difficult times on the path. So I never say that it's for everyone, because not everyone is ready for it. You have to be strong to continue on in those moments where you wish you were just dead already because it's so painful. Okay, but you have to keep going. Which brings us to the next card. Expectation. Okay, of transformation. There it is. To have the expectation you're going to break through that illusion. Okay, that it's coming. You've got to hang on. You've got to hang through. You've got to push through. You've got to just keep taking that next step, that next step, that next step. Which brings us to the next card, the journey. Like I said, this whole reading today is about the path to realization, about the journey that ultimately people make when they get serious and they want to know God. If you ask in your heart to know God, you really, really want to know God, oh, the way will open. Okay, you'll be shown that light. And it's not an easy journey to take. Okay, the drumbeat, imagination. You get through a lot of imagination and you go, is this imagination? Is this real? Is this not real? You know, the dividing line between the real and unreal will become very blurred at some points in time. Okay, you feel shape-shifting. 1 second you're this, 1 second you're something else. You're seeing with a different consciousness. You're seeing, you know, and that's the journey that one makes. Okay, is that right? He said, I don't know. I just in dog spirit at the moment. Don't ask me. And the last card is, again, there's no other way to read this reading other than talking about the journey, completion. You make the whole of the wheel. Now, if you've been on this journey, and so many that go towards realization, you know, and you're going through the phenomenal world and all of the astral realms and inner and outer world, you know, the psychic realms and the astral, all of that stuff that one proceeds through. When you get to completion, it's like hitting a brick wall. Because lifetimes, this takes lifetimes. This is not something you do in a couple years. So many people come to the path that they think in a year, I'm going to be realized, I'm going to be this fabulous person, I'm, you know, well, they're full of nonsense. It doesn't work that way. It takes lifetimes of being a monk, being a nun, being, you know, searching, being a shaman. It takes lifetimes to get to the completion. And what happens when you get to the completion, it's like, well, now what? Because you've had lifetimes geared to the search, and now the search is over. Well, now what the heck do I do? And you're just sitting flabbergasted for a while, because it's like your reason for living was the search for lifetimes, and now all of a sudden that's completed. And you know it's completed. There's nothing else to search for. The mind is still. There are no more running thoughts. It's just quiet. You're in balance. Okay? Nothing to search for. The answer has been revealed. The great joke of the universe. It is like a big joke of the universe when you know, because you travel here and there, everywhere, searching and searching. Going from this land to that land, giving up everything you own for the search. And then you get there and you found out you couldn't have got away from it if you tried, because it's inherently what one is at the core of being. So it's like, you get to the end of it and it's like the universe's little joke, okay? People are praying for God. I want God, I want God. You're so far away. No, God is never far away. It's in your next breath, okay? But you give up everything numerous times. I don't know how many times in my life I gave up everything for the search. Literally gave up everything for the search. Oh my God. But then you don't learn that unless you do that, okay? That's part of it. Part of it is the sacrifice, to let go, to, you know, to have that heart drive, that pull, to continue to want to know, you know, to face whatever obstacle one has to face to get there, just to know. You know, if you want to know if God is real, what is God, you know, then those doors are open, and don't be surprised at what happens, okay? Don't be surprised at what happens. You know, the journey is such a huge journey. But again, when you complete, you get spit right back out into life again. Now, I started this journey because I was in a lot of pain. I had a lot of abuse, a lot of pain. I just wanted out of life. I didn't want to be here. I wanted nothing more to do with this world. I wanted out, you know. But when you finish, you see the beauty of life. You know, this is like, yeah, this is the grand dream state. But all of it has the seed of life in it. All of it is that God energy. Okay? And the beauty of it is that people do have the free will. Well, if you have free will, there are consequences to that. You're not robots. You're not puppets. Okay? So that is why there is karma, to knock you upside the head when you go the wrong way and say, wake up, fool. So anyway, yes, I recommend the journey for people. But again, you know, Kundalini, there's a reason they say there's madness and death if you don't know what you're doing, because you can get, like I said, when you were going through these realms of 1 second, you know, you're seeing in the midst of fires, you have dreams of fires, snakes, and all of these are very, I don't want to say, not prophetic, that's not the word I'm looking for. They are indicators of where you're at in the path. Like if you're dreaming of a lot of vehicles, that has to do with the transient self. If you're dreaming of snakes, this has to do with the energy. You're dreaming of fires, that means that this energy is in a specific channel. You see things imploding, it means the ego is starting to lose its hold. I mean, there are a lot of different things that you see, which for someone like myself that's a teacher understands those dreams. You've already been through it. You understand what they're pointing to, where you're at in the midst of the journey. Okay? The journey is great because, like I said, so many people want to be teachers. They can't save themselves, yet they want to be a teacher. Okay, no, first you have to make the journey, and you have to complete the journey. So many get to a point of where they start accessing, you know, some of the psychic realm, and they think they're there. Well, they're not there. You're not there until you reach the point of Turiyatita, where the mind is still. There are no more thoughts. Okay, one is just in direct consciousness at that point. Until that happens, until you've gone through the death before death, okay, and everything has imploded, you're not finished. You need to keep going. So many people stop before they're finished. And then they get these ideologies of I am God, the ego is God, and they've gone off on such a wrong, mistaken notion. And then that's the most dangerous part. The most dangerous part is when one has had so many experiences and then they take the ego to be God. Okay? So they've abdicated, they've quit too early, and then they can really fall very, very hard, and they can take a lot of people down with them because they become very charismatic. You know, people feel the energy, but they're not completed. You know, when you complete, it's a big, you know, you have a big puffed up balloon. It's like the pin pops the balloon. And you know that there is no more, just because you're a teacher, you've completed the path, you've got the same amount of God energy that anybody else does. They all have the same amount of God energy within them. So it becomes very humbling. It becomes very... you know, you get a reality check. Let's say it that way. You get a reality check. The only difference is your eyes are opened now and their eyes are still closed. That's the only difference. You know the reality, they are still running through the illusion, trying to find their way, bumping themselves around in the night, trying to figure out the journey. That's the only difference. Okay? So again, let's go through it. Let's go back the other way. way again. Completion. It's like the snake eating its tail. That's what happens to ego. Ego gets full of itself, and you got to consume yourself until you are no more. Okay? The big zero. And that's what I laugh about too. That's why in India, the linga is like a zero. Because you're the big zero. Spirit gives value to everything, yet within itself it doesn't have a face. It doesn't have, it just simply is. Okay? Great Spirit simply is. It doesn't have a face, doesn't have a form, but it gives value to everything. It allows form to come into existence. Okay? So it's the big zero. When you get to realization, you become a big zero. Along the way, maybe you think you're the big one. Wow, I'm the big one. But you get to the end and you find out you're the big zero. Okay? And you look back on all the drama and you get a big laugh. Okay? So anyway, the journey, watch for the imagination. It says like the same thing, like trees and mountains become something mystical, magical along the way, and when you complete, they're just trees and mountains again. So everything takes on such a different meaning along the way. Okay, things become so more expanded. And you get to some point in the journey and everything is beautiful. No matter what you see is absolutely, you're blown away, And when you complete, for the first maybe 5-6 years, you're just in wonderland. It's like, because you feel everything. You're connected, you're one with everything that is. And so it's a very magical time. You are just in awe of everything. You could just sit all day and just watch a leaf blowing, and you feel it in your heart fluttering. When the leaf flutters, your heart flutters. There's that ambient connection with all of the scene, with all the scene world. Okay, so that happens, and it takes a good maybe 10 years before one finally settles, becomes again very grounded, and becomes very grounded, and then it just becomes your normal way of existence. For me, there's no feeling of I can go back into that at any time. One can go into that at any time, because that stillness is always present. But if you're a teacher, you can't just be in la la land all day. You have to be here to work with people. Okay, so you let go of that for a while. Anyway, along the journey, you have to have the expectation that you're going to continue forward. No matter how difficult it is, you keep going forward, okay? Doing what helps to open you, what helps to allow you to transcend the physical, okay? Again, dragonfly spirit, truth transcends illusion. And that's, again, when you get to the end of the journey, it blows everything out. It blows all the illusion, all the drama out, and one knows reality at that point, okay? And then you can go back into the illusory story and you know it for what it is. This is a dream state here, okay? You know how you can have some dream that seems very real, and you wake up, no, it was just a dream? Well, that's what this world becomes after realization. It's the same thing in the midst of another dream. Okay, shaman. Okay, follow the way of the shaman. They can aid you for the ancient healing wisdom from those that have gone for the path before, and everyone is on their own journey to uncover the truth. And how are you using your emotions in the world? So that's the wisdom of the day, is the talk of the journey. There was no other way to read those cards. They are all just pointing one line straight forward to what it is, what it means, what it takes to walk the road to realization, okay? To become a medicine man or a medicine woman or a shaman, or however you want to say, a realized being, a Buddha. You know, this is why Buddha said, I'm awakened. I'm awake. There are those that come to me and say, if you say you are, then you're not, you know, that type of thing. Well, Buddha, yes, Buddha proclaimed, I am awakened, okay? Stepped out of the dream, okay? It's a fact, okay? It's a fact. It doesn't mean that one's trying to say, I'm higher than you, I'm better than you. It's not like that at all. It has nothing to do with that type of nonsense. It just means that the journey's completed. You know, I've seen the, you know, I understand, I know, I am that great spirit. You are that great spirit. What I am, you are. The only difference is that at this point, I'm conscious of it, and those that are still seeking are not yet conscious of it. Now, I have a big problem with people that say, they think that in ego all they have to say is name it and claim it, okay? I'm that. Well, no, you're still in ego. If you're still in ego and the feeling that you are this body, you are this transient form, then you're not there yet, okay? So I have a problem with the teachers that want to try to get people just to again think that ego is that great the great spirit. Ego is not. Ego is, again, part of the illusion, okay? The illusion which has that feeling of separation within it, okay? That is the seeker, that which feels separated, that which is out of step, that which is not in flow with the universe. Universal is, okay? So again, it's so important to make the journey. Each one has to make the journey in their own time. And you can't force anyone to awaken. You can't force anyone to make the journey. Because again, not everyone is ready for it at the same time. But if you are, and you are in the midst of the journey, understand the journey will end. You will come to the light at the end of the tunnel, no matter how dark it seems now. You have to keep pushing forward, not giving in. And again, you know, if you are in that process of sitting meditation, watching what arises, look at the emotions, how they come and go. What gives them life? Look at the thoughts, what come and go, what gives it life. You know, keep backing out until you get the seed essence of what it is, okay? When it breaks through that, then you can see and go beyond the illusion of it, okay? Because thoughts, people get so caught up in their thoughts and their emotions. You know, you get a emotion that comes up and you feel it like an adrenaline rush in the body. And this is what I tell people that are in fear. Really look at it. When it comes, it's an adrenaline rush. Okay, then you ascribe a name to it. But it can't live on its own. You have to have your awareness on it. Same like a thought. The thought comes into your consciousness, you're aware of it, and you run your life around it. Well, when it's gone, where did it go to? What life does it have? These are questions that you begin to really sit with. You begin to watch. This is why, you know, some of the Buddhist things, they go out 3 years, 3 months, 3 days. alone in a cave, because they have to sit with themselves. They have to sit with the emotions, and they'll see, and if you go to do sitting meditation, and all these things are coming, they have maybe nothing to do with just sitting. But you'll be living how many lives just sitting there with all this drama that comes. So again, this is the value of sitting and looking and watching the way the mind works, the way the emotions work, how it affects the body. And you question those at the core. You question, you observe, and you question, you observe, question, observe, question. And then you can break through the illusion to the truth of what's there underneath. And then that is the freeing. That is the freeing up. So hopefully I haven't bored some of you out there. They say, I just want a tarot reading. Sorry about that. But for some reason, that's what the cards are presenting today. And so I say, well, okay, universe, I'll go ahead and talk about this now. So maybe there are some out there that are contemplating path or in the midst of the path that maybe need to hear this today that can help them with their own journeys. But don't give up. No matter where you're at, if you're just starting, if you're almost to the end, don't give up. It is well worth it to continue your journey. No matter how difficult it appears at the time, you will complete. Okay, so thank you for tuning in. I will see you online. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for, those that have gotten the music. And Deborah, your music is on its way to you. Okay, and thank you for tuning in. And please, everyone, continue your journeys to realization, to awakening, to becoming a Buddha, if you will. And a Buddha just means one that's awakened, okay? One that's seen the reality from the fantasy, okay? So have a great day. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you online. Aho!